What is biographical criticism? Biographical criticism?
What is biographical criticism? Biographical criticism is a form of literary criticism which analyzes a writer's biography to show the relationship between the author's life and the works of literature. This approach begins with simple but essential insight that literature is written by actual people and that understanding an author's life can help readers more truly comprehend the work. Biographical criticism enables readers to approach the writer's work with a deeper understanding of how they were crafted and their meaning. It works by considering the author and the fact-based knowledge of his life which accompanies him. When we differentiate it with the other criticism, just like the historical criticism, it works by looking into a literary work's background, cultural and social context, as well as the author's biography. Louise Maillard has heart trouble, so she must be informed carefully about her husband's death. Her sister, Josephine, tells her the news. Louise's husband's friend, Richards, learned about a railroad disaster when he was in the newspaper office and saw Louise's husband, Brentley, on the list of those killed. Louise begins sobbing when Josephine tells her of Brentley's death and goes upstairs to be alone in her room.
Louise sits down and looks out an open window. She sees trees, smells approaching rain, and hears a peddler yelling out what he is selling. She hears someone singing as well as the sounds of sparrows, and there are fluffy white clouds in the sky. She is young with lines around her eyes. Still crying, she gazes into the distance. She feels apprehensive and tries to suppress the building emotions within her, but can't. She begins repeating the word free to herself over and over again. Her heart beats quickly and she feels very warm. Louise knows she will cry again when she sees Brentley's corpse. His hands were tender and she always looked at her lovingly. But then she imagines the years ahead. She belongs only to her now and spreads her arms out joyfully with anticipation. She will be free. She will be free on her own without anyone to oppress her. She thinks that all women and men oppress one another even if they do it out of kindness. Louise knows that she often felt love for Brentley, but tells herself that none of that matters anymore. She feels ecstatic with her newfound sense of independence.
Josephine comes to her door, begging Louise to come out.
Louis, open the door! I beg, open the door! You will make yourself ill! What are you doing, Louis? For heaven's sake, open the door!
Go away. I'm not making myself ill. No. She was drinking in a very elixir of life through that open window.
The front door unexpectedly opens and Bradley comes in. He hadn't been in the train accident or even aware that one had happened. Josephine screams and Richard tries unsuccessfully to block Louise from seeing him. Doctors arrive and pronounce that Louise died of heart attack, bottom by happiness.
Scene Since biographical criticism is analyzes a writer's biography to show the relationship between the author's life and the works of literature, this is what we understand how we will apply this criticism in the literary piece or the story. In Kate's life, she had lost person excessively in a railway accident. A widow Mrs. Maillard is sooner or later assumed to be a widow, but readers will shortly happen out that Mr. Maillard is alive. In Kate's life, her male parent had widowed her female parent. Both experienced holding lost person really particular and very bit good as being widowed but decidedly. In the terminal, before she would hold learn about Brentley's return from the accident, Louise died of bosom disease of joy that kills. This suggests that she had a monstrous joy because it killed and consumed her to disease.
Possibly, Chapin would merely allow Louis disease alternatively of seeing Brentley once more, wherein she will be populating like a prison once more, freedom for women in the story of an hour. Chapin has made no suggestion to the readers that Mrs. Mallard was sorry for her husband's loss. Alternatively, she has uttered over under her breath, free, free, and free, which suggests how happy Mrs. Mallard is to hold lost her hobby, because she has now freedom for herself. The joy she senses in possessing her freedom is something which consumes her. In Kate's life, she was used to compose about revival of woman's right.
She experienced a period when there was this decline and protrudency of women's public demands, like instruction, the ballot rights to her own belongings and to her own kids. Those events drove her to compose this sort of feminist text alternatively of taking other cosmopolitan subjects. Briefly, the rubric of this novel, The Story of an Hour, is an image of the feelings provoked by the chief character, Louis Mallard. In connection to this, it can be confirmed that this novel is a mention to Kate Chopin's life, since most of events in Louisa's life are similar or at least made a great influence to that of the narrative The Story of an Hour. This context includes the life of the writer, the epoch it was written, the social status during the clip it was set, and others.